Welcome to the PATH training on how to enter or update a contacts logs record. To enter contacts logs record, you're going to start by selecting charts on the left-hand side menu, making sure you have the correct program selected. Today we will be working with the Training PATH Outreach program. You're going to scroll down to the bottom where it says Services Individual and the menu will expand. You're going to select Contacts Log. When you get to the supported services checklist, you're going to select your consumer from the dropdown. Today, we're going to be working with Jill. If you need to update information for consumers who are already discharged, please select the roster archives checkbox and the page will refresh and your consumer dropdown will only display consumers who had already been discharged. I'm going to click continue to work with Jill. You will land on the Individual Supported Services Checklist Editing Index page. Here you will see the consumer in the program that you're in, the worker who's currently logged in and entering the recording the contacts logs, the date range. This is how far back you are able to go and edit or view any contacts logs that have already been recorded for the consumer, and followed by the admission date. To enter a contacts log, so I'm going to leave it at add a new session and I'm going to click continue. You're going to start by selecting the date that the service was provided. So I am going to select May 5th and then the start time. At what time did you meet with your consumer? I'm going to say I met with my consumer at 8 a.m. and we met for a good hour and a half. I'm going to say yes, it was face-to-face. We met at this program site. And during that meeting, we discussed several topics. So I'm going to select PATH Case Management as the general topic that was discussed. As I scroll down, before I select any options, I just want to explain to you this page. The services that have PATH prefixing are the services that get recorded on the PATH QCMRs as well as the ARS. I'm sorry, the PATH QCMR reports, in specific the LOS. So I'm going to select PATH Case Management, followed by you have the units column and cost column, a service detail, and a funding source. For PATH programs, units and costs are not required, nor is service details, but here you can enter information that's not client identifiable. And to the far right, you have the funding source. PATH does not require a funding source to be recorded. So here you'll see that you have your PATH Case Management, and if any other services were discussed, you can select them as well. With the exception of outreach. Outreach, we're going to record it separately, and I will explain to you shortly. Here you can enter a note regarding the services that you have checked above. And you have the option of locking a progress note. We usually don't recommend that you lock the notes, but feel free, you can. There is a permission that will allow you to unlock the note. So I'm going to leave it on check, and when I click continue, I have saved that service for my consumer. Now, I mentioned something about outreach, and indeed we are in the PATH outreach program. So indeed, anytime your a consumer has accepted services and been enrolled in PATH, you want to go in and enter, select outreach, that service outreach by itself. I'm going to say that the consumer's admission date was 10/8, I think. I'm going to select the service for this year, though. Actually, no, it should be the date that the consumer was admitted into the program. So I saw that it wasn't recorded, so I want to go back and make sure that this outreach service is counted in the report. So I'm gonna say that I met with this consumer. I saw them when we were doing street outreach, and we talked for about a good 30 minutes. It was face to face, and it was in another site because we were out in the streets. And here I'm going to select outreach. I'm going to make sure that outreach is selected. Again, no unit or cost needs to be entered, but if you want to enter a note pertaining that outreach, you can do so at this time, as well as you can enter a progress note regarding the outreach service. When I click continue, now you're going to see two separate services, the outreach that needs to be recorded by itself in order for it to count, and you have the path case management along with other services in there. If you are the worker who has entered the note, you will see these radio buttons. These radio buttons will allow you to select, click continue, and go back in data entry mode to make any edits that need to be made. So let's say I did indeed met with him for 2 hours and not 1 hour and a half. So I'm going to make the changes to the duration. And when I click continue, now I see that it wasn't an hour and a half. It was indeed 2 hours that I met with this consumer. You also have the weekday linked. So if you click on the linked weekday, you'll be able to see this note or the service provided in confirmation mode. So you are able to read the information that was entered. I'm going to jump back once to get back to the index. We have showed you how to enter a progress note, how to enter a contacts log, and how to go about editing a contacts log. We wish you much luck and success in providing the services to the special population.